Help me to reach 2,000 subscribers. The scream was so soft I barely heard it, yet it came from inside my own chest. It happened the moment I pressed play on the footage from our first night as husband and wife. A moment that should have been filled with warmth turned cold before the second clip even faded in. My breath locked in place. My fingers trembled. Something in the room shifted, like the air had turned heavier, darker, charged with a truth it had been waiting to spill. I had not expected anything unusual. I had only wanted to relive the dancing lights, the laughter, the way my dress shimmered like a promise every time I turned. Instead, I found a recording that did not belong with our memories, a recording that should never have existed at all. At first it looked like any harmless behind-the-scenes moment from the wedding. The camera was unsteady, as if someone had picked it up without thinking. But then the angle shifted and I saw the back of a man. My husband. The familiar shape of his shoulders, the same crisp white shirt I had helped him button only hours before. He was not alone. A hand slid into view. A gold bracelet glinted in the low light, a bracelet I recognized instantly. My cousin Alicia. My childhood partner in every secret. My sister in everything but blood. She laughed. He whispered something I could not make out. Their bodies pressed close in a hallway just outside the reception hall. My reception hall. My wedding. My life. I paused the video so abruptly that the audio cracked. My own reflection stared back at me from the laptop screen. My cheeks were wet. I had not even realized I was crying. No. I breathed the word out like a plea. No. This cannot be real. This is some random old recording. This is some misunderstanding. This is anything but what it looks like. But I knew. Deep inside I knew. I rewound the footage, unable to stop myself, unable to look away. I tried to convince myself I was simply seeking answers, but the truth was uglier. I wanted to catch them being innocent. I wanted to see something that proved I was imagining everything. But when the camera steadied again, their faces turned toward each other, and I watched my cousin lean in. It was not friendly. It was not confused. It was intimate. Intentional. Wrong. A sound rose inside my throat like the start of a storm. When Daniel walked into the room, I almost jumped out of my skin. He looked relaxed, still tasting the joy from our wedding night, unaware that the world I had built around us was already crumbling. He smiled the way husbands are supposed to smile at their new brides. That was what hurt the most. "What are you watching?" he asked softly. "We should be getting ready for the beach." I closed the laptop before he could come closer. "Just reviewing some moments from the wedding," I said. My voice did not sound like mine. It sounded like someone balancing on a ledge, pretending not to fall. He came to sit beside me and reached for my hand. Instinctively, I pulled away. His smile faltered. "Is everything all right?" I wanted to confront him right then. I wanted to scream and demand answers. But the truth was I needed a moment. I needed to breathe without feeling my chest collapse. I needed to figure out if I could even trust my own judgment. So I said, "I am overwhelmed. That is all." He wrapped his arms around me and kissed the top of my head. I felt nothing but ice. Later that evening, when he stepped into the shower, I opened the laptop again. My hands were steady now. Steady in the way someone becomes while preparing for a war of the heart. I watched the clip from the beginning, forcing myself to see everything. Every touch. Every whisper. Every choice they made when they thought no one was watching. Afterward, I sat for a long time on the edge of the bed, staring at the mosaic tiles on the floor, trying to understand how betrayal grows, trying to understand how love collapses without making a sound. When he returned from the shower, I looked at him with new eyes. Eyes that no longer belonged to a bride, but to a woman whose trust had been shattered. He saw it instantly. "What happened?" he asked. My voice came out low but steady. "I found something on the footage." His face changed. Not with confusion, not with fear, but with recognition. As if he had spent days praying this moment would never come. He sank onto the bed. For a long time he said nothing. Then he whispered, "I thought it was deleted. I thought no one would ever see it." Those words split me open more violently than any confession could have. He did not ask what I saw. He knew. "Did it mean anything to you?" I asked. "It was a mistake," he said. "A stupid moment. I had too much to drink. She came on to me. I tried to stop it. I held up my hand. I already saw who leaned in first. He shut his mouth. The truth had cornered him. Tell me why, I whispered. I deserve that much. He looked down at his hands. Because I was afraid, he said. Afraid of commitment. Afraid of losing freedom. Afraid I was not ready. Afraid of everything except how much I loved you. His words twisted inside me like a knife. I could not tell if they were honest or just another layer of deception. I stood and walked to the balcony. Warm wind brushed my face. The ocean below moved in slow, endless waves. Behind me, he said, "Please say something." So I did. I will not stay with someone who betrays me on the day I give my life to him. He made a broken sound behind me. I removed my wedding ring and placed it on the railing. It gleamed in the sunset like a final message. Then I walked back inside, packed my suitcase, and closed the door behind me. The last thing I heard was his voice cracking as he said my name, begging for a second chance that no longer existed. I did not look back.